thank you, everyone, and welcome. This is Untitled Yarn Exchange, Jonesborough, Tennessee's original storytelling radio hour. All the stories tonight come from folks living right here in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains. I'm your host, Leon Overbay, and with me tonight is my co-host, Lori Olmstead.
Thanks, Leon. You're in for some tricks and treats tonight, everyone, in our annual On to Jonesborough episode.
The biggest treat of the night is our special musical guest, the Jeters.
Another treat we have are our sponsors. We couldn't do this show without them.
That's right, Lori. Untitled Yarn Exchange is supported by a generous contribution from the Harris Fund.
We'd also like to thank Crestpoint Health, dedicated to supporting, maintaining, and improving their members' well-being so they can enjoy all life has to offer.
We'd also like to thank the makers of parsley. Yes, parsley, that smooth, easygoing flavor that enhances every meal. Sprinkle it on or garnish a dish.
It must taste better with parsley.
And of course, frozen toast. Moms, do mornings come too early? Then frozen toast is the answer. From the freezer to the toaster, what could be simpler than frozen toast? Hit it, kids.
What do you want for breakfast, kids? Frozen toast.
Now it's time to dim the lights. Take hold of the hand next to you and prepare yourselves for the stories we will be presenting tonight in our special haunted episode.
Tonight we're hopping on the train on the railroad that Doc Cunningham built 150 years ago. We're not stopping right at Jonesborough, but a little bit past. And we're not stopping at the year the railroad was built, but a little bit past.
Although, one of the characters in the story was born right about then, in 1850. Miss Margaret, a woman known by everyone in the tiny little community nestled in the knobs and hollers. She is known by all, and yet friendless.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves. The year is 1935, middle of the Great Depression, the height of the initial years. FDR, WPA, CCC, FWP, all tied into the New Deal. America was slowly getting back to work, building, restoring, recording.
The railroad, for richer or for poorer, conveyed the eager workers looking for work wherever they could find it. The rich rode in the well-appointed cabins. The poorer rode the rails, leaping onto trains as they chugged out of town, jumping into boxcars up on top.
This was not a safe or easy thing to do. Jonesborough's own Alfred Greenlee recalls how his older brother was killed falling off of a moving train as he was making his way north to find work. But again, we're getting ahead of the train. Here it comes now. I'm not going to tell you which station this train has just pulled into.
Superstition.
Maybe more. You never know if descendants from these stories might still be around.
Well, exactly. So we're somewhere outside of Johnson City, Tennessee, in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains.
Excuse me, ma'am. Know where I might find some work around here?
Does it look like it? We don't have more than tobacco farms and dirt roads. You'd be better off riding a little further on.
That's what they said in the last town.
I'm sure they did.
The sharp words didn't have the same effect as when he first began his quest the year before. He stood deciding which direction to walk when a humming sound pulled his attention away to see an old lady on the porch of a house almost hidden by overgrown bushes.
Ma'am, I'm not here to beg. I'm looking for work. If you got something that needs doing in exchange for a meal.
She turned her attention away to something that buzzed past her, and Eugene watched as the old woman leaned over the railing to catch a lightning bug and then put it in a mason jar to join at least a dozen others. She landed her gaze on him again.
What's your name, son? Where are you from?
Name's Eugene. Used to come from Alabama. Now, I don't know where I come from anymore.
Well, Eugene from Alabama. I have pines thrown up on the roof. You can clear that away, but not on an empty stomach. Nothing fancy. Biscuits and ham.
I sure do appreciate it. Mrs.
Margaret Wright. Ooh, listen to the sound of that. It's been so long since I've heard my own name spoken out loud. It sounds strange.
Well, I appreciate it, Miss Margaret Wright. Well, it's coming up on dark, and I'll carry these up so I can start now.
Here, take this so you don't eat alone in the dark.
Huh, a mason jar with lightning bugs. That's
keep you...
some lantern.
They're to keep you company. Let them go in the morning. If you can use the jar in your travels, you're welcome to take it. Doesn't weigh much empty. And if it's ever full...
Then I could be grateful for the weight of it. Thank you.
All you're teaching them is to keep coming back to beg. We got a hard enough time here feeding our own without taking care of everybody else.
It's my door they're coming to, not yours.
They're strangers. There's no telling what they want here.
They're hungry and looking for work is all. You got a boy out there looking for work?
What do you know about my son?
He's following the work on rails. What makes him any different?
I can rest assured that he is not begging.
But say he's hungry. Wouldn't you want someone to help him? Those men are somebody's sons. I'm only doing what my mother would want me to do for any child. Don't you want someone to help your son?
What? What do you mean by that? What do you know about my son?
Nothing. Just if your son needed help, wouldn't you want him to get it?
All the color drained from the shrill woman's face, and her knees felt weak, but only for a moment. She drew in a deep breath and then blasted back.
I will not be lectured by a woman who has never had a child of her own. So don't you be calling anything down on my son. I'll be leaving now.
I've got to get another jar for my lightning bugs. I can catch some for you if you like. Suit yourself then.
Back at the train depot, another stranger tried to make her way through town.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. I'm looking for...
Sorry, I can't help you.
Excuse me, sir.
I'll tell you like I told the last 50 folks come by here. Ain't no work to be done.
Well, I'm not looking for work. At least not anymore. I'm looking for a person.
Relative?
No, just a person of interest.
Person of interest? What kind of talk is that?
Well, the first on my list is Miss Margaret Wright. Can you direct me to her house?
Why are you looking for her?
I want to talk with her. I'm with the Federal Writers Program.
What do the feds want with anyone here?
Nothing, except to get a story. Mr. Aaron said I could find her this way.
Well, you won't find her here, neither will the feds. Good day to you, man.
But, sir, please. Excuse me, ma'am. I'm with the Federal Writers Program, and
I ain't got nothing to do with no feds. Y'all come down out here and broke my husband's still. He wasn't doing nothing wrong except make himself a little drink.
You don't understand. I'm not a federal agent. I'm with it.
You're not from here, are you?
No, ma'am, I'm not. I'm here for my job. I'm with the...
I've heard by now. The whole town knows you're with the federal government.
The Federal Writers Program. Part of the WPA. I'm here to interview people for the Folklore Project. Gathering stories and...
Who are you?
I just said I'm with the Federal
Not who you are. Not who you're with. Who are you? Where are you from? Who's your people?
My name is Grace McCune. I'm from Athens. And my people... I don't have any people.
Must be hard.
No, I'm used to it. Mother died when I was young, and then 10 years ago, Daddy... Hey, I'm the one supposed to be asking the questions. And soon. I'm on a deadline. The editor expects my interviews by the end of the month. I just blew 2 weeks in Etowah. It took 10 days to find out that the person I was looking for was 30 minutes away. But nobody gives clear directions around here.
Why should they?
Excuse me?
Why should they? We've had a lot of experience. Folks like us, with folks like you coming in and taking what's ours. Why should we help you take more?
Well, I'm doing this for the people here. Capturing their history before it gets lost. It's for your own benefit.
You're the one on a deadline with a paycheck. It's for your own benefit. So, Miss Federal Writers Project, you take our stories and you get a paycheck. What do we get out of it?
Well, you get your history preserved. The old way of life, that's changing. The Federal Writers Project, we want to make sure that we get this moment while we still can. There's old folks down here who still remember the Civil War days, slavery, and the coming of automobiles, electricity, airplanes. That's who I've been sent to interview. Imagine being someone who's seen all that.
Honey, I don't have to imagine it. I've lived it.
You're that old? Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean it like that.
Oh, yes, you did. And it's okay. I'm old. You get past a certain age and you can stop thinking about getting old. And you finally quit thinking about being younger. And you just are. It's a good place to be, Grace. You're so young, and you don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm not that young. I'm 31.
Honey, I have shoes older than you are. Just got them broken in. You don't even know that. You're just now on the edge of living.
Margaret took Grace's hand and walked with her to the bench. The two sat together and looked down at their pair of hands, old and young, past and present, black and white.
If you want to know something about someone, look at their hands. The face can mislead you. There's all kinds of tricks. A little powder can take the tired out. A little lipstick can make a girl into a woman. A smile can hide a hurt. But when you see a face you're never quite sure, especially since most people wear more than one, but look at the hands. They tell a story. See these? These hands have held the reins to a team of mules. They've held the wheel of an automobile. They've drawn water from a well and turned the faucet on a sink indoors. They've lit kerosene lamps and pulled the chain on my new electric lights. They've held more things than I can remember, and some I can't forget, no matter how hard I try. I'm old, and you know what?
What?
It sure beats the alternative. There. Your lantern is finished. Nature's electricity. Take this and let them out in the morning. There's fresh jasmine in there. They love that. I call this hope in a jar. It can be the darkest of dark nights. Then their little lights glow and remind me I'm not alone in the dark. Talk about dark nights. It's getting that way fast. Where do you plan on staying?
I'm not sure. So there's no hotel?
A woman down the street, she takes in boarders. If you don't have a lot of money, you can do jobs for her. Get to know people, Grace. Don't go in as the Federal Writers Project. Just go in as Grace. I'm tired. Good luck with your stories.
Thanks. Oh, I almost forgot. You know my name, but I forgot to ask. Who are you?
Excuse me, you a friend of hers?
No, ma'am. I'm not from here. She was just helping me get on the right track.
Best be careful. She'll help you get on a track with a train coming right at you.
Oh?
You look nice enough. Let me give you some advice. Keep away. She gives the witch of the Nola Chucky a run for her money.
The witch of Nola Hooey?
The Nola Chucky.
Ooh, well, that sounds like a story. That's what I'm here for, to get local legends.
Some people might say it's a legend, but my papa knew a farmer out past Chucky. It would have been about 50 years ago, around about 1885, who lost his mind on account of the witch of the Nola Chucky.
Excuse me, just a second. Pull my notebook out. I'm with the Federal, my name's Grace, and I'm working on a book. Can you tell me more?
I still remember my papa telling me about the night he found that farmer.
There was a Rolling Stone store that come through. One of them traveling salesmen that had everything from lemon oils to overalls and perfume. He come by here and we bought a few things and sent him down to the next farm over. When he left there, it was getting late. The farmer invited the salesman to spend the night, but he wanted to get further on his way. The farmer told the man about a cave near Nullichucky along the way the man was traveling. About 4 hours later, a bit before midnight, here comes driving up the path of the farmer's house a rolling wagon and a horse with a wild look in its eyes. The farmer took off on horseback towards the direction he sent the salesman. The moon was bright and he could see ahead along the banks the figure of a man lying on the ground. The farmer got off his horse and went to the man who just lay there with his eyes staring blankly at the night sky. We'd all heard about the witch out there that drove men mad, but never believed in her till now. He reached down to the salesman and he heard a sweet voice.
He'll be all right. Turn around and talk to me. I haven't had company in a long time.
Now the farmer knew from the stories that what drove men mad was to look the witch in the eye, so he tells her, I just want to get this man to a workplace. Then she spoke even sweeter.
Sit a while and talk to me, please.
And he felt cold, bony fingers touch his shoulder. He froze, determined not to turn around. Then the breeze caught the trees and the moon glowed in his face. He turned to look at the moon, and when he did, there was her face. He thought for one moment to look away. It was the last sane thought he ever had. 2 days later, the traveler found the two men laying on the ground, eyes fixed on the skies with all the senses drained out of them. They never, ever came out of it.
That is a really scary story. I'll make sure I don't go out that way at night either.
And if you know what's good for you, you'll stay away from that house over there, too.
Mama, is it dinner time yet? I'm hungry. We finished our chores. I want fried chicken.
Excuse me, the kids need feeding.
Thank you. Oh, I didn't catch your name.
It's Angie Mulder. Good luck on your project now. I've got to go.
Mom, I'm starving.
I said I'm coming, child.
Will the hungry child be fed? Will the witch of Nullichucky strike again? Stay tuned.
This time of year with all the legends, where you're not sure where the fact begins and the story takes over, I bet it drives at least one person here crazy. I'm talking about the director of the Heritage Alliance, Deborah Montante. We have her here every month on a segment we call Ask the Historian. So Deborah, come on up.
Thanks, Leon. I appreciate the opportunity to separate the facts from the mythology.
Well, our team has been out listening at the haunted houses and storytelling events, and we've got quite a list we want to talk about with you. Some of them are so outrageous.
I know, Leon. We hear some of these stories, we just shake our heads and laugh.
Okay, first, Davy Crockett's log cabin, still standing a couple of miles from Limestone. Folks for centuries say that they've seen his ghost there, but I question that.
Well, yes, I agree.
Because Pam and I went out on a trip out west and visited the Alamo, and there were people out there that say they've seen his ghost at the Alamo, and I really question that, too. How can a ghost be in two places at once?
Seriously, Leon?
Well,
that's your question?
Well, Deborah, where do you think the ghost really is? Are people at the Alamo just making up this ghost is there when he's really here in Limestone? Which is it?
Leon, nobody even knows if ghosts really exist.
Well, obviously do. There's people seeing them here at the Alamo and back here. So which ghost is the real Davy Crockett?
I have an idea, Leon. Maybe he spends the winter months in Texas where it's warm. Well, yeah, that makes sense.
No, it doesn't. That makes no sense whatsoever. Listen, let's just leave Davy Crockett.
Yeah, let's hear about Andrew Jackson.
Great, because we never hear enough about him.
The historic Chester Inn, right next to the Storytelling Center, built in 1797, the oldest business in continuous operation in Jonesborough. 3 presidents slept there.
That's true. Andrew Jackson, Andrew Johnson, and James Capel.
Now, some folks say they've seen Andrew Jackson's ghost out on the balcony. So is it true or not?
Well, I've certainly never seen him. I don't know anybody who's ever seen him, but I can tell you this. If Andrew Jackson is retracing his steps in Jonesborough, he's on the wrong porch. That porch wasn't built until 1883.
Well, other famous people stay there too, not just presidents. I even heard that Hank Williams' ghost is there, and that was the place where he died from a gunshot wound. Just ridiculous things like some people want to believe.
I've heard that one too. That is truly ridiculous.
It sure is. Hank Williams didn't die of a gunshot wound.
Exactly.
So, Deb, that's why you're here. Set the record straight. How exactly did Hank Williams die at the Chester Inn?
He did too die.
Yes, Randy, he did die.
From what?
I honestly don't know.
Now, Deb, a famous musician dies at the Chester Inn and you don't have the records to show?
Randy, there are no records because Hank Williams did not die of a gunshot wound or anything else at the Chester Inn.
Well, then this is incredible. I have to call the news team. Hank Williams didn't die at the Chester Inn. This must mean he's one of the Walking Dead. This is huge.
Randy, he's not the Walking Dead. You're jumping to conclusions again. I thought you learned your lessons last year when we talked about that overly hyped cholera story and the supposed mass grave.
Aha! So there is a mass grave from the cholera epidemic.
There is no evidence of a mass grave.
But you just said there was. Oh, I see.
Uh-oh. What do you see?
Of course, it's all so clear now. I'm just seeing the connection. The mass grave from the cholera epidemic was never found because there is no mass grave.
Exactly! Finally!
Because they all must be Walking Dead, too. Thanks for clearing that up.
Thanks, Deborah, for your very exciting experiment on Ask the Historian.
If you're just tuning in, you're listening to A Night with the Jonesborough Yarn Exchange on WETS 89.5 FM.
In this season of Tricks and Treats, I'd like to welcome to the stage a real treat. Tonight we've got the bluegrass favorites, the Jeters.
To
While they're getting ready for the next song, I'll let you know that was, we covered that song that was done by Adam Steffi and Boxcars recently. We thought it had a nice Halloween tinge to it. And the next song we're going to do is off of our new CD, our only CD. We are from Johnson City, but we come down here to Jonesborough whenever we get the chance. We love this little town. This next song is, like I said, is off of the CD, and it's called Your Love Is Like a Flower.
Never